Hey folks, welcome back to Ed's Garage. So today I'm going to be testing out this little guy. This is a 110 volt, 3000 watt miniature water heater. So I know that in my previous video talking about this trailer, I said I wasn't going to be using electric water heat. But you know what? This thing was only 60 bucks, so I figured what the hell, let's give it a shot. And see if it actually works. So I've got my inverter hooked up. The battery inside there is currently at 88%. Curious to know how much energy I waste in about 5 minutes. Unfortunately, this pump is actually not designed for water, so hopefully I don't destroy the pump. It's actually a fluid transfer pump for like oils and grease, or not grease, oils and transmission fluids and stuff like that. But anyway, let's give it a shot. So I've got the water primed. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. And it is quite noisy, so while it's running, we'll just pause the video. But anyway, currently, as you can see here, the temperature of the water is a very chilly 17 degrees. I don't know if you can see that on camera. But yeah, we're going to see how much warmer the water gets running off this pump, or off this heater. Now, this heater, being 3000 watts, actually needs a 30 amp breaker. And of course, you'd want to make it a ground fault interrupted circuit breaker as well. The other thing that I noticed online is a lot of people complain that the connection points leak. They really don't, as long as you're using the correct connections. So these are basically two shower hose lines, which it's really designed for because they seal up with rubber rings. So now this is the model that has the temperature gauge on it. So that should come up once we plug it in and turn it on. So you can see that right there. But yeah, without further ado, let's give this a shot. Just gonna push this back a little bit here. And hopefully it doesn't destroy my inverter, because my inverter is also 3000 watts. All right, so it's doing a little spinny thing here. We're gonna turn it on, it's gonna get noisy. All right, so as you can see, the temperature is slowly going up, and it just conked out. Back on again. I think it might be drawing too much power. Yeah, the inverter is not liking it. And it's back on again. Well, I guess I'll be returning it because the inverter can't seem to handle the current draw, unfortunately. All right, I think I figured it out. It might actually not be the inverter. It might be the battery itself. Well, actually, it's probably most definitely the battery itself. I looked at the specifications of the 200 amp hour Woolils battery that I have tucked in there, and it can only actually handle 2100 watts of continuous discharge. So it'll do a maximum of 300 amp hours, so something like 3,400 or something like that watts, for less than 3 seconds, and then it's just done. So what I'm going to try next is I'm going to hook up my secondary battery as well in parallel with this one. It's another lithium iron phosphate battery, but it's a smaller battery. But I don't need necessarily a large battery for this, because we only want to be using this hot water for a maximum of 5 minutes or so for a nice warm shower. So I'm gonna hook that up, and yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. All right, I've got the other battery hooked up. Now this is a 1 kilowatt hour battery. You can see what right there, 1030 watt hours. Nominal capacity 78 amp hours at 13.2 volts. Currently the meter on the inverter is reading 12.9. Well, let's give this a shot, see how it goes. So that's already turned on. Get this going. All right. So, obviously that's incorrect. I'm going to give it a second here. Well, actually 28 degrees holding. Oh, it's definitely warmer. But I just heard the inverter beep again. So I think it's going to go out again. Yeah, it's beeping. We'll be holding at 10.2 volts. Temperature now 29 degrees.
And we're starting at 17 degrees. We're at 30 degrees now. I think if I slow it down a bit, I might be able to get a little hotter. So let's try that. Let's slow the flow down a bit here. 31 degrees. Definitely feels a lot warmer now. Let's slow it down a touch more. Oh, that's too much. Oh. So I'm not sure what happened here, but the pump just died. Oh, it's smoking. Okay. So that pump is no good. It is no bueno. I think we just killed the pump. But we did, however, manage to get up to 31 degrees from this thing. I put a lot of stress on the inverter, and it was pretty much just about to conk out. So, unfortunately, the failure now is that pump. All right, well, I think it may actually have been working. It was really taxing that inverter a lot, but it was holding on. So, I'm not quite willing to give up on this yet. I was obviously pulling a lot of amperage. I wish I knew exactly how much, but I neglected to hook up my ammeter and check. But this is now, I think, pushed me into, I think I'm going to fill up the tank in the trailer here. I didn't really want to do this. What it means is it means that I'm going to have to re-winterize everything. But I need to know if this works. I need to figure out whether or not this water heater is going to cut it. And basically the problem here is that the water heater needs to have low flow in order to get to a really nice consistent temperature. But what you can actually do is, if the flow is too high, what I'll be able to do is actually take the water from the shower and redirect it into the tank so that the water in the tank warms up a bit, and then you take a shower once everything's kind of up to temperature. So I think I'm going to throw, well, 16 liters of water into the tank here and just run it and see what happens. I'll just, yeah, I guess I'll just redo the antifreeze in the lines, I suppose. Okay, so I'll get on that. I've gone ahead and just filled up the tank. Well, I put about, I don't know, 16, 15 liters in there, something like that. I got a nice, fresh, clean bucket with no water in it. Thermometer's in there. Let's give this a shot. So I've got to turn on the water first. And the power. There we go. Definitely getting hot, well, warm water. At least a lot warmer than it is inside here. 27, 28. Drawing a lot of power through that inverter. Fans are running, alarm's going off. I'm going to slow it down a bit. That's as slow as I actually am able to go. 30 degrees. Well, let's see what our thermometer says here. So the water temperature inside the holding tank of the RV is 19 degrees. And the water coming out, see, we're getting up closer to 30. And here it still says 30 degrees. Now, if you're wondering why it's all pink, it's because there's antifreeze mixed in there. Still 30, down to 10.1 volts. I get the feeling that inverter is going to cut out pretty soon here. Yeah, I'm getting 30 degrees reading on the thermometer now. I mean, yeah, you could take a shower in this. I mean, it's cool. I just heard a click. Not sure what that came from. It was up to 31 degrees for a second. Unfortunately, this is as slow as I can get this water to go, because otherwise the pump inside begins to stall. Yeah, 31 degrees. Yep, not so sure this is going to work, guys. It's just not warm enough. It's only bumping it up 10 degrees, and it was supposed to bump it up more like 20 degrees. I just slowed it down a bit more. Okay, so I was able to get a little bit more out of it. Here we go, 33 degrees. Somehow the inverter's holding. 33 degrees. Slow it down a bit more if we can. Yeah, I can hear the pump is stalling now. Yeah, that's as slow as I can get it to go. For a moment there, I got up to 36. I'm starting to smell something now. I think the inverter might be getting hot. Ooh, that's a lot of power. Woo! This wire is flaming hot. Okay, I'm gonna call it. Yep. It's too hot. Too much power being drawn through here. This wire is boiling hot. Oddly, this one's fine. I am curious to know how much energy is being drawn, though. I'm going to hook up my ammeter. I don't imagine I have a whole lot of time, so let's give this a shot. Reading 355 amps. 360 amps nearly. Yep, 362, 63, 363 amps. All right, so we actually ran out of water. Yeah, 363 amps. All right, I reran the test again, and sure enough, it's pulling 360 amps. Well, the battery's a 12-volt battery, so 360 amps at 12 volts is way more than 3,000 watts. So I'm not sure exactly why it's putting out way higher wattage than what I was told it was supposed to do based on the ad. But yeah, it's drawing way too much power. And quite frankly, it's not heating the water up significantly enough that it's a good way to go. So unfortunately, it looks like I am going to have to go gas. I really wanted this to work. I really wanted to be able to do everything off electricity. But yeah, there's just no way to do this properly. So I have got a battery that's drained down. I've gone through basically about 40, well maybe not, about 30 liters of water. Now if I could actually run the water at a lower speed, because right now I think I'm doing probably about, well, I'm doing multiple liters per minute. Ideally you want to be able to run this thing at like no more than like 2 liters per minute, in which case it would probably work okay, but I'm burning through 15 liters of water in like, 4 or 5 minutes. So I think I'm going 3 liters per minute minimum. And the pump's just not going to handle that. It doesn't like it. It wants to go faster than that. So this solution, unfortunately, just isn't going to work for me. It's going to have to be gas. So what's the final verdict? Well, final verdict, it's going back to Amazon. Yeah, it's not going to work. So yeah, I do have a nice gas one right here that I'm going to go ahead and install. So I'll do that next time. For now, I'm going to finish up with the solar panel installation. So that'll be a video as well, if it's not already up. That'll come up after this one. I'm not sure which one I'm doing first, but yeah, continue with the build. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.